What's going on, people, and welcome back to Mandem Football. And today we have the FA Cup, and we had it yesterday. There should be another game tomorrow with Nottingham Forest. But the big one today is that Manchester United are eliminated out of and kicked out of the FA Cup. They were definitely looking forward to getting the FA Cup and tying the record with the most FA Cups along with Arsenal Football Club. And that is not going to happen this season. Um, well, let's dive right into it. First half, can't necessarily anything was great from either of the two. To be quite honest, I didn't watch the game myself. I only really saw the highlights. However, I will say that when it rains, it pours for Manchester United. When it rains, it pours. I do want to definitely dive a little bit into this whole Manchester United situation because I think Manchester United are in a very interesting situation, but you the first thing that I do want to say with Manchester United is that they are not a good team. I think that is established. They're not good. They are where they are in the Premier League. They are out of the FA Cup, out of the Carabao Cup, and they are really riding high on the Europa League. So that tells you a lot about their season moving forward. Number two, they might not be good, but they are players in that team that definitely deserve more than what they're getting right now. A few players I do want to mention though that I really do think deserve more than what they're getting. Actually, before I even say that, big up Fulham. I mean, listen, Fulham, may not win the FA Cup. I don't think due to the teams that are in the FA Cup right now, like Villa and Forest, and especially Manchester City, they might not win it all. But when I say Fulham are a good team, they are a decent team in the Prem. They really are. They have good players. And before I get into Manchester United, though, I do want to speak about Fulham. I'm moving a little bit back and forth here. But Fulham, wow, when I say they may not have been great today, but there are good players on Fulham. I mean, their manager is fantastic, but Alex Iwobi. Alex Iwobi played in two fantastic crosses into the box, and nobody was able to get ahead on it. But those two crosses alone that I saw just tell you so much about his game and his season this year. I mean, I remember when he was starting out, especially at Arsenal. He had a lot of potential, had a lot of skill, raw talent. But when I say this guy has developed his game year after year, he's become a splendid player. They have other great players in other areas. Anthony Robinson, wow, Anthony Robinson, my American hero right there. I've been saying he should get the armband for the United States, the national team. I've been laughed at, but when I say that guy is a baller, he is a baller, and he took his penalty very well. Anthony Robinson, Emil Smith Rowe. You can throw in a few other players that played well. Bassi, great goal, great header, scored, got into the end of it, got there first before Mazraoui did for the cross. The corner. Great goal, but Fulham deserved it. Fair play to Fulham. But for Manchester United, like I said before, when it rains, it pours. And, their season is not looking good. But I do want to say that there's a few players that definitely deserve more than what they get. Matthijs de Ligt, well, we question why he went to Manchester United in the first place because of how good of a player he is and how much potential he has further on in this game. I truly do believe he is, if not now, but he definitely will be one of the best center backs in the world come the next few years. He is a fantastic player. He deserves more. I think someone that I really do admire and who's been getting a lot of stick as of late over the last few months, especially the last month or two, is Joshua Zirkzee. Listen, Joshua Zirkzee is a very, very talented individual. He is not a typical number 10, but number 9. But boy, when I say this guy can play as a false 9, oh my gosh. the skill set that he has at his height, at his physicality, is off the charts. His passing ability that he played to Garnacho, that Garnacho did not put away himself, is something of a wonder to me that I saw. And I'm like, this guy can not only dribble very well, he not only has the physicality to hold the play very well, but he could also pass that goddamn ball. And that is Joshua Zirkzee at the moment. He is getting a lot of scapegoating from Manchester United fans, from the team, because of how poor they are. So he's being, hounded out. He is an excellent player, and I really, really hope to see him flourish at a good side. And if Manchester United can really get things going, then he could definitely be one of the players to look for. Bruno Fernandes, great shot, great goal, doing captain things for Manchester United. But again, we saw the whole thing with Roy Keane, questioning Bruno Fernandes' leadership and captaincy. He might be a good player for Manchester United, and he might even be at least a decent captain. But I really hope to beg to differ when it comes to if this guy is the guy that's going to take Manchester United to the promised land that they really want. I mean, forget about the trophies. Forget about the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup that they won over the past 2 seasons, right? What Roy Keane and many fans like Roy Keane are trying to talk about is Bruno Fernandes the guy that's going to win them trophy after trophy after trophy, sustainable success. I think about sustainable success as you win this, you're on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. Where is that mentality, right? The quality is there, the quality is there, but where is that tenacity? Where is that, eye and win? Where is that leadership from Bruno Fernandes that we're all looking for? This is a guy with a lot of quality, and sometimes I think the badge is too heavy for him to be the captain, or that at least the armband is too heavy for him, right? There's no doubt he's a great player, a great number 10. He does what he does really well, but I don't know. I don't know about Bruno Fernandes. I don't think he is the right fit for what's going on right now. And maybe he deserves more. Maybe he deserves a better team to be playing at, which I do think if he was at a bigger and better team, he would be winning trophy after trophy. He deserves it. His output speaks, but I think he just kind of falls into the bad students in the classroom type of thing, where either you have one good student who does what he's supposed to do, but he's friends with the bad kids, and sooner than later he falls into that category and he falls into that association and becomes one of those kids. It's silly, but that's just the truth, because that's what Manchester United are right now. And I look at Manchester United overall as a club, as a team, as a business, as a institution of football, right? Something is going on at Manchester United that I cannot really identify. I can't identify it. It doesn't make sense to me how someone like Antony, who was getting hounded out for years now, when he was at Manchester United, getting hounded out month after month, week after week, game after game. And he's at Real Betis, and he's putting in performance after performance, player of the game here, player of the game there. Marcus Rashford, right now, he hasn't scored his first goal for Villa, but he's registering assists for Marco Asensio at Villa. Can you imagine that? Aston Villa have an opportunity of going forward into the Champions League. Not only that, but they're also going into the FA Cup that they have a chance of winning. The FA Cup, they could put all their marbles into the FA Cup. The Premier League, no. But the FA Cup and the Champions League, oh hell yeah. And you could tell that it's not Marcus Rashford. It's not Antony. You might question their mentality, their desire to want to, perform week after week. I get that. But my gosh, when I say that quality is quality and you can't take that away from a player, but when the team and the club and everything with it is just down the drain, it really just goes to show you that there are certain times and there's certain pieces that were never the issue in the first place, right? Another man's trash is another man's treasure, and that's exactly what Real Betis are looking at. That's exactly what we're seeing with Aston Villa. And listen, we've seen this before with Manchester United. So something internally is going on with that club, right? So I don't want to hear anyone talk about how prestigious Manchester United are. You know, we've done it all. We've won it all, right? I respect that, right? I respect that heavily. I'll talk about Manchester United in the 90s, the 80s, Sir Alex Ferguson, all day long, really and truly. You can't get enough of it. But, wow, this club is going somewhere that it does not want to go down. And Ineos, the board, everyone has just completely plummeted this team into the ground. And like I said before, when it rains, it pours from Manchester United. But the good news is that I do think that there's hope. I do think that, like I said before, the players that they have on the pitch, and Ruben Amorim, he's a good coach. He just needs to understand that his system is flawed. His system is flawed, and there's not really much to do with what he has. You know, his system that he wants to play, he can play the system. Just know that, right, your system is not going to execute at the levels that you want with the players that you have. And the fact that whatever you got going on in your system might not actually work in the first place because of the certain margins of error that's not being addressed. And whether that be the system itself, whether that be the players, who knows? But there's a difference with this Manchester United team. The players, some of those players need to stay, and a lot of those players need to go. I'll make a new video about that later on this week, about which players should stay and which players should go. But yeah, Manchester United, they are in some deep, deep waters. But there is hope, though. There is hope. All it will take is just some self-accountability and reflection that we've seen from Ruben Amorim time and time again. He's replying back to the likes of Wayne Rooney and the likes of the Jamie Carragers of the world in the Sky Sports, which is all cool and fun and games. But it's all about what we see on the pitch, and I see something on the pitch. But it's not pretty, but there's hope. So if you're a Manchester United fan, bear with me here. You guys are stinking up the gaff. That's what they like to say. But there's hope. There really is hope. And I do see it with Ruben Amorim working out at some point. Just a lot of things need to happen from here to the end of the season and going into the summer. So, yes, that's what I got for today, folks. The Premier League will definitely be next weekend. Unfortunately, it wasn't this weekend, obviously, for the FA Cup. But next week is going to be a big week because Arsenal actually play Manchester United at Old Trafford this time. So we'll see what happens there. Both teams are struggling at the moment, so we'll see what happens. That's the big one. Thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.